Let's talk about the East region here, guys. We've got Ohio State in here, North Carolina. I left my hats upstairs. I have hats along for this. I didn't do it.
We need props. We need props.
We would at least cut down the glare for one of us.
Yeah, visual medium.
Yeah.
Mr. Clean over here.
Anyhow, I digress. I used it 3 times today so far, Mike. What do you like about the East region, guys? What jumps out at you?
Well, I think it's the toughest. Sorry, Gordy. I think it's the toughest.
Sorry, but I'm going.
I think it's the toughest region. I don't think. It seems like we say this almost every year. The number 1 seed in the overall tournament, the committee did them no favors. Yes. It seems like we say that every year, yes. And I think that certainly is the case here. Ohio State has a really tough road.
I would agree with that. I mean, if you look at it, if they get all the way out, if the top 2 seeds both get all the way out, they have Ohio State, North Carolina, which would be a real test, I think, for Ohio State, because Carolina is big and they're also really fast. They like to run up and down, and I think that would be a real challenge for Ohio State to face that kind of style. But, I mean, even earlier, I mean, they could play George Mason in the second round, which was no bargain. I mean, assuming that George Mason beats Villanova, which I don't think would be much of an upset, really, the way Villanova has played and the way George Mason is. So, you know, and then Kentucky's in that region, so it's a Syracuse, so it's a real interesting road that Ohio State could potentially have to negotiate.
It's interesting. We were saying the Big East can be beat up at this point, but as I do the bracket, I have West Virginia going a couple rounds. I have Syracuse based on matchups again.
Sure.
You know, I do have Nova losing, but part of that's because I don't like this guy John. He's a Nova fan, so that's part of it here.
Well, that's as good a way to pick it as any.
Way to break it down.
Their first round matchup against George Mason, those kids that lost to Nova 2 years ago are now seniors. They were sophomores then.
Right, good point.
So you got the revenge factor, but you got the experience factor, and I think you can fork in Nova right now. 5 losses in a row.
I don't trust their team even a little bit. I mean, who's had a good year for them, really? I mean, Antonio Pena seems like he's taken a step back. Fisher's been only okay.
Right.
Muftai Uru, I don't think he's really developed as much as they might have hoped. Malik Waynes is a pretty good player, but they seem like they have a lot of the same guy, and they don't have anybody that stands above the pack, which is what they would have hoped. And I just think that they're begging to be beaten somewhere.
And I think you hit it. I think they just have a lot of individuals who have not gotten better. The individual development of players is the problem there.
Yeah.
Got to ask you guys about North Carolina. I'll start with you, Gordy. Can they do anything or not?
Yeah, I like their team. I mean, they won 17 out of 19, and the freshman point guard has obviously come on a lot, and we talked about this before, that sort of an addition by subtraction when Larry Drew left the team, that, okay, now everything was more well-defined, and they're huge up front, and you know, Harrison Barnes, obviously a real promising player. I like their team a lot. It wouldn't be a shock to see them come out of this region. It wouldn't be a shock to see them win it all, I think. I mean, they might be a little young, but that's the one caveat. And the other caveat is in the ACC tournament, they fell way behind 3 times, and they got out of the hole twice, but not the third time. So, I mean, that to me indicates that somebody spotted a real flaw with them that can be exploited.
I think they're immature.
Yeah,
I think they're a young, immature team. I'm not quite as high on North Carolina. Very talented. It's an NBA front line, really.
Right, sure.
But I'm not too crazy about the guards. Not too crazy about their lack of experience. I thought they really almost. It's not fair to say didn't show up for the ACC championship game, but we're not there mentally, I didn't think, and Duke really victimized them in that game. So I mean, obviously they're a very good team, and who knows what's going to happen, but they're not on the top of my list. I like Syracuse.
Yeah, the Qs is an interesting team, aren't they? I mean, they're always kind of funky. They play a 2-3 zone, and you figure, well, in junior high you learn how to attack a 2-3 zone, right? I mean, how can these elite athletes not attack a 2-3 zone? I mean, it's pretty
amazing.
basic.
It is amazing.
But the interesting thing is, it's not just a 2-3 zone. I mean, they'll trap along the sideline, they'll jump out, they'll do some different things out of it. So it's not like they're just sitting there, watching you pass the ball around the perimeter.
I like when they're big and reasonably athletic, which I think they are now, and they have a couple guys I think have good basket. I like some of their players, good basketball IQs and things. I like Syracuse a lot.
There's certain coaches, and Jim Boeheim's one of those, that always seems to have his team ready this time of year. I mean, there's other coaches you can see the opposite.
Remember when he had the complete opposite reputation?
You're right.
180
Vermont.
different. Yeah.
But he had good players better players back then. I mean, we're going way back. Wendell Alexis and Pearl
Derek
Washington
Coleman,
and Ronnie Slakely. They had, maybe not Slakely, but he had better talent then, and yet now he's this genius professor,
Yeah, well, it's funny how those things get a little twisted. Once he won one, then it's like everybody backed off a little bit.
That's right.
So who you taking in this region? Who's coming out?
I'm still taking Ohio State.
Ohio State?
No. I got Syracuse.
I got Ohio State, so we'll see.